goodness. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. It is 9:45 here where I am at in Orlando, Florida, and I have not done a vlog video in a minute, so I'm doing one today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Yasha. I also go by Toto the Penguin on various other platforms like Twitch, where I be gaming. I actually might stream today. I have a new detective game I've been playing that I'm obsessed with, so that's what we'll be doing after this. But oh my god, hello. How you doing? How you feeling? Girl. Listen, things have been crazy, but not crazy. Crazy, but not crazy. So let's get into it, shall we? So I have no idea what I talked to you all about last time I did a vlog, but I don't even know where to start. First off, I guess we'll start with the most frustrating experience that I just had recently, and then we can kind of bounce around and dip around if we will. But before we get started, if you were watching this with me, please get some water or some type of beverage, and let's moisturize our souls together before we get to yapping. Or before I get to yapping. We will moisturize, I will yap. Okay, I think I'm ready now to get into it. Okay, so first things first. I was excited because a week ago, I decided I was going to purchase an armoire. For those of you that don't know, an armoire is essentially a closet that is outside of your closet. Like a wooden, usually it's wood or it's like a fake wood or something like that. I decided to buy one, and I was so excited because I was like, this is the first piece of furniture that I wanted to get for my room for me. Okay, so now I'm gonna be jumping all over the place, so I already apologize for how all over the place this video gonna fucking be, bro. This is gonna be everywhere. we touching on everything with consent. So I am looking at adopting cats. I am a cat person at heart. I've stayed with people multiple times for weeks at a time that had cats, and even though I am allergic, this is doing too much. Even though I am allergic, I absolutely adore cats, and my allergies as an adult are not as bad as they used to be, so I'm very excited to be doing this. I know a lot of people who have cats. I've been doing research because I'm a big researcher. I like to know what I'm doing when I'm, gonna do something new in my life. I'm very excited. I want to be a cat mom. Side note, I'm also currently now, as of late, a plant mom. So, for those of you that don't know, this is my nephew, Flappy. He is actually my sister's jade succulent. He is a precious boy. He's doing his thing. He's growing. He's thriving. He's doing it up. This is a new addition to my plant family, or I guess the first addition to my plant family. This is Remy. She is a Swiss cheese plant. She's a vine plant, and she actually grows with these holes in the leaves. I love this plant so much. Don't tell my other plants, but this is like my favorite plant. Then we have my golden pothos, which is another vine plant. These were all gifted to me, by the way. My golden pothos plant, and her name is Misty. Love her. And then my newest addition, I just had a birthday. And this is my newest addition to the team. This is a Brazil heartleaf philodendron and another vine plant. And what's interesting is how I came upon these plants. And this plant's name is Glossy. So beautiful. So with these plants, I said maybe a month or so ago that I wanted to start building my life in a way that I was happy with. And one of the ways that I don't know why I kept talking like y'all could hear me, the camera's up here. So I said to Spirit, and just in general, hey, your girl would like to start building her room in her life in a way that matches the things that I like, right? And so, look at this. Isn't she beautiful? Fucking love plants. I said I wanted to build my life in a way that I was happy with. I've always wanted to be a caretaker of plants and a caretaker of animals. This is something that, you know, when you're listening to music and you be closing your eyes, I don't know if you do this, but I be closing my eyes and I be fantasizing about the life that I want to have based on the song that I'm listening to. And so I was like, I see for myself a cottage or a log cabin that is similar to a home that you would find in the video game Skyrim. Fucking love that video game. I have been playing that video game on and off for at least 10 years now. A decade's worth of love I have for this game. I don't care that it's glitchy. I don't care that the story is and, you know, the dialogue's not the best. I just love it. I love that game so much. It just makes me feel so good, and I go back to it frequently. And I decided that I wanted to build a life, eventually a house I would like to build that resembles, you know, kind of a fantasy medieval time. So I've spoken to people who build homes, and I was like, yeah, what about this design? And they're like, that is a really interesting and fun design for an architect. So at some point in my life down the road, when I want to build a house, wherever I end up living permanently, that's something that I want to do. And so I thought, I was kind of meditating and talking to Spirit about my life and the things that I wanted to do. And one of the things that we discussed was, well, why don't I create that life right now instead of waiting? So having plants, having cats, which by the by, anybody watching this, then it's like, well, you're getting a cat for the first time. Why are you getting two? For those of you that don't know, if you tend to work, and I do work part-time right now, cats have a tendency to get lonely and they do get depressed depending upon their personality types. So having a cat that they are already bonded with, like a sibling from litter, or I'm doing foster, I'm adopting from people who foster, so I'm looking for a pre-bonded pair, so that when I'm not around, because I can't be around all the time and I can't play with them 100% of the time, like I'm definitely gonna put them play hours in. I'm gonna put those play hours in with these cats. Like it's gonna be a good time, you feel me? But because I can't be there all the time, it is beneficial to get your cat a companion. So then, you know, they have each other. And especially if I have to go out of town and I can't take them and I have somebody who's going to cat sit for me, it is nice for them to have companionship. So for those of you who are looking at getting a cat, that is something to keep in mind. The reason I'm looking at getting two is because I can financially handle it. And I do have the space for two cats. So, you know, and I did budgeting and stuff for like the nutritionist for the cats, for vet visits, for, you know, all of that stuff, food, you know, the litter boxes, everything. Your girl loves to research. I'm a big researcher. I'd be having my little glasses on. I'd be doing the most. But anyways, so I digress. I was looking at doing that. And what brought me to this armoire, this closet outside of my closet that I'm telling you about, is that I started looking for furniture that you would find in a medieval home. And I started looking, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to convert my current closet into a kitty potty area for the cats. Very excited. And it's going to be very cute. The design I have in my mind is great. It's going to give both of them space, you know, so that they can have their own little potty sections, and then it'll be closed off. So when I go to feed them, I can close that door so that, you know, they're not bombarded with the smell of, you know, the bathroom business. Because I don't know about you, but I would not be eating in the bathroom. Like, now I do eat I don't know if this is TMI, I do eat in the bath occasionally. So I'll have like a little tray and I'll get my food and I'll be in there relaxing and I'll be watching like a streaming video or something. I'll be watching somebody play video games. I should be in there eating. If you've never done it, bitch, if you've never done it, you have to try it. You have to try it. It's a whole new experience, a whole new type of luxurious experience you didn't realize you had access to eat while in the bath. That shit's amazing. I felt so expensive. I was in there like, this baked potato hits different. Like, the least sexy food you can eat in the bath is a fucking baked potato, bro. That shit had me crying. I was in there laughing, cackling. I had to calm down though, because I don't want to drop food in the tub, because then that's just gross. But what was I saying? Shit. Oh yeah, it's the armoire. So I was like, I want to buy furniture that reflects, you know, I want to build it. Like I save all kinds of really cute room designs and stuff on Pinterest, right? So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to start building this life. So I was online sifting through things, and because I want to move all of my shoes and my clothes out of the closet, I wanted to purchase an armoire, which is where I would put all of my clothes. I don't have a lot of clothes, which I like. I like to keep my clothes and my shoe count down, because I like the ability to move around if I need to. Excuse me, a little burp there. So I found an armoire. It was cute. It fit the theme. I was like, yes, we're eating with this. I felt really good about it. And so I purchased it, and I was very excited. I was like, oh my gosh, as a 33-year-old lady, as Jenna Marbles used to say, I miss her. As a 33-year-old lady, I was like, well, I don't have anything to my name right now. Like, I have clothes, I have a computer, you know, I have a phone and all that stuff, but I don't have like furniture. And I understand why older generations have their stuff. I used to judge very heavily. I used to say, you know, kind of the boomer generation, like they have all their things, you know, like their hutch, their giant glass case with all of their fine china, because my grandmother has that. And I used to judge, but I was like, there's something really nice about having furniture that you invested in that makes the rooms that you spend a majority of your time in feel like home. And I am a homebody. As much as I would like to say I enjoy going out, I do. I love going out. But I am a homebody. Like, what you're seeing right now, this is me. Like 95% of the time, I am in this chair or lying on my bed that I have not made up, and I'm just big chilling. Just chilling. I'm watching YouTube videos, or I'm reading. I'm gonna tell y'all about a book that I'm reading that I'm thoroughly enjoying. And I promise there's spirituality shit sprinkled out through all of this. But y'all already know your girl likes to yap. So I found this armoire. I purchased it, and I was like, yes, first, you know, like serious adult purchase that I am making for myself of something that I want to go with me to all the places that I move. It gets here, I would say, about a week early. They quoted it to get here on like the 28th of February, and it got here on like, what was yesterday? The 21st. Today's the 22nd. It's 2/22/26. So the overall number for today is 2 and 4, 6. Ooh, the overall number for today is 7. 7 represents mastery, wisdom. I like that. I wake up, I go out to my porch, 2 big ass boxes. I bring those boxes in, and in the instructions it said, it is recommended that 2 people build this. I am a one person. And so I was like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna do it myself. So it took me from when I got it, which had to be like 11 or 12 in the afternoon, to 10 o'clock at night to be putting this together as a solo unit. I was fine with that, because I know it takes me a while to put things together, right? It takes me a hot second. I put it together. I finally get it standing up. Not the whole thing. I just put the frame together. Just the frame, mind you. I I put the frame together, and when I got it up, I realized I had put on a very crucial piece that everything is built around backwards. So your girl stood there, irritated as fuck. I was so fucking irritated. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It's taken me 30 billion years to put this together, and I put this part on backwards. I was hot. I was heated. But then, as I stood there, I touched the top part of this armoire, and it wobbled. And I was like, okay. So I checked the screws. Everything was screwed in tight as the instructions said, and it should not have been wobbling. So I sat on my bed, disappointed. And I was like, I spent money on this. I spent so many man-hours of labor of trying to put this together by myself. Finally got it standing up as a frame. I'm not even done with the closet, like the doors and the drawers and the shelves inside and the clothes rack. I wasn't even done with that. And so I sat on the bed and I thought to myself, what am I gonna do? I was sore. At this point, I had cut my knee because I had walked past one of the shelves and it caught me, and so I cut my knee. So I bled for this project. But I ultimately decided that I was going to have to take the whole thing apart in order to flip this piece around. So I decided that I was going to return it. I was like, since I have to disassemble it anyways, I'm going to go ahead and return this, because the finished product of what this is going to be is not going to be sturdy enough to move to multiple locations with me. And that was the goal, was to get a piece of furniture that would go with me to multiple locations, something that would stay with me for a while. And so then I communed with Spirit after I finally took it down. It's back in these 2 boxes. I'm going to need help. My dad's going to help me take them to the car, and I'm going to return them. I already started the return process because I got it online because it wasn't in the store. So I'm going to return it to the store, and they're going to give me a full refund. So I'm happy about that. But I was kind of communing with Spirit last night before bed. And the question was, what did you learn from this process? 17 minutes of yapping for us to get to the spiritual bit. And what I learned was, in life, I'm going to make mistakes. There are things that I cannot plan for, right? And when I make those mistakes, something that I have to remember is that there is no mistake that is so permanent I cannot heal from it, or I can't do something to fix it. They're kind of happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say in his paintings. Bless him. Because me, I typically get like buyer's remorse, or agreeing to plans remorse, introvert's remorse, if you will, where I agree to go out and do stuff with people, and then the day of, I'm like, I want to be at home. I want to eat food. I want to drink tea. I don't want to be out. And when I tell you that was such a, I would say it was an expensive lesson to learn, but it wasn't, because I'm getting a full refund. My body hurts and I'm very sore trying to, kneel and, using power tools and stuff to get this thing together. But I needed that. I needed it so bad. I needed that lesson, because there's so much that I'm excited for in my life that I know is happening. I'm not planning, and I'm not supposed to be thinking in the future, right? But there's so much stuff that I'm excited about that I have thought and been nervous about. One of those things is adopting cats. I'm not the type of person who wants to adopt and then, take them back. And I've asked people over and over and over again, is it, how hard is it on a scale of 1 to 10? I've had a dog before, and my family's had cats before, but I've never had cats alone. And I've heard everything from it's incredibly challenging to it's the worst thing on the planet to it's really great and it's really rewarding, especially if you're a person who enjoys your own company and you enjoy your own company and the company of animals, which I do. A lot of people complain about cat litter, and I'm like, there's so many ways to deal with that, which I've dealt with cat litter before. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I've had to walk my dog outside when, or the dog that I used to have, she would go outside and she would have, not the most easily pick upable poops, and I picked that up. So I feel like if I could do that, I could do anything. But the lesson here was there's going to be stuff in your life that you try to prepare for, and you do as much research as you can, and you're still not ready. You're still not ready. I've had people ask me recently, like, how do you feel about having kids? Like, you're in your 30s, like, what are you doing with that? You know, and especially since I'm not with anybody right now, and it's a common question that you would ask when you're dating somebody. And I've always been on the fence about it. I've had times where I've been like, nope, don't want to have kids. Why would I bring them into this world? You know, you can't prepare for everything. They are the most, like the variable is not set. You can't plan for that. Like, you can plan for the act of having a kid. Like, you can plan for the baby crib, the room, the clothes, the diapers, you know, the hospital visits. Like, you can prepare for a certain amount of stuff, but then when their personality starts setting in, you can't prepare for that. You can hope that it's something that you can manage, but you just don't know. There's so much you don't know. And I've been comfortable not knowing where my path is leading. I had to get comfortable with that quick, man. Spirit was on me about having to be comfortable doing that. But making certain decisions is different. So, let me drink some water. I am learning the lesson of do your research. You know, if it's important, put the time in. Put the time in. But also know there will always be a margin of unknown that you are working with. The soulmate journey. Just because you and a person have great chemistry, just because you feel like you've known each other forever, just because you get along does not mean you know that person 100%. There's always a margin of risk that comes with everything that we do. I don't think there's anything that I've done in my life that has not carried with it some type of risk. Even decisions to move in my life, there's been risk. There's also been risk with not moving in my life. We oftentimes think, oh, well, if I go out and I try to achieve this dream of being a dancer full-time or a singer full-time or a creative, or I want to go to law school, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher and educator, I want to completely flip the type of work that I'm doing even though I'm in my 40s or I'm in my 50s, and you think, well, there's a lot of risk that comes with that. There's also a lot of risk with not moving in that direction. The risk is that what you're doing currently that you feel is so stable, there's a risk that it doesn't work out. I saw Jim Carrey spoke at a university, and he did a speech, and he talked about the fact that his father was a very funny man, and his father wanted to be a comedian, if I'm not mistaken. I would go try to find this, go to YouTube, type in, Jim Carrey. I think it was a commencement speech that he did for a university. And he said that his father wanted to be a comedian. He was a very funny guy. Jim Carrey gets a lot of his humor from his father. But his father wanted to do the safe thing. And he got a job, I believe, as an accountant. And then Jim Carrey said that his dad ended up getting laid off down the line at that accounting job. So he was like, so really, there's nothing that we do that is going to be 100% successful, 100% stable. Y'all know, for those of you who are watching this video and you don't live here in the United States, our economy, our political, our everything right now is in a place I don't think people thought it would be in 5 years ago. I mean, if you were like researching and you had your eye on the stocks and on the economy and on, you had your finger on the pulse of what was happening, maybe you knew. But the majority of us, or me, let me not speak for everybody, I didn't think things like this were going to happen. I didn't think COVID was going to happen. There were so many people who had trips planned. They planned to have kids. There are people who thought that it was going to be the perfect time to do stuff, and then COVID hit. I didn't think this was the message I was going to have for you today as I was rambling on about my life and mistakenly purchasing this dumbass armoire. I only think it's dumb because my knee now hurts because I cut my knee, and my whole back hurts because I was bending and hooting and hollering in here. But that's kind of the lesson that I've been sitting with recently, because I feel like I wanted to work backwards. 25 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. I don't know if 25 is significant to anybody. But there are bits and pieces of my life that I do, or that I act in, where I've gotten so much joy from it. So like these plants, there was actually another plant that I had. It was a satin pothos, which for those of you that don't know, they're very pretty. They have a kind of emerald green look, and they have gray speckles on the leaves that are silver in the light. Beautiful. I brought these plants home. They were gifted to me by somebody at my gig. I brought these plants home, and because the soil that they were in seemed really, really wet, and I was afraid of root rot, I repotted them. So I repotted the golden pothos I showed you, I repotted the Swiss cheese plant, and then I repotted the satin pothos. These made it. She did not. And I was so nervous when I first got these plants. Again, researching. I had done so much research before I started getting them. And then I was doing research. I was on the Reddit boards with all the other plant parents, like, oh my God, what is happening to my plant? Like, I'm noticing the leaves are starting to go yellow and this part of the root system is brown. What's happening? And I saw a comment in there that made me feel better, because I was losing sleep over these plants, over making sure I had them on the proper watering system. I'm giving you all a lot of insight into the type of person I am right now. And I was so stressed, and I saw a comment on Reddit that said, as a first-time plant parent, some of you are in here very stressed, and I want to let you know that most people who start having plants in the home, you will kill a few by accident. It is common, because you're going into this new. You can do as much research as you want to do and still not know why a plant is acting the way it's acting. You can look at the leaves and you can say, hey guys, take a picture of the leaves, what's happening? And a lot of people who've been doing this for years can tell you, oh, you're overwatering it, or you're underwatering it, or it's not getting enough light, or how humid is your room. For some plants, you need high humidity. For some plants, you need low humidity. And when I saw that comment from somebody who was like, yeah, I've had plants in my home. I have over 30 plants in my home, and I've been taking care of plants for 10 years, and I still lose plants to this day. It's not a science all the time. Sometimes it is an art. And even what I do at my gig, measuring people for lymphedema and lipedema garments, compression garments, in order to help with their swelling, all of the experts who have been training me have been saying it is an art, not a science. Because lymphedema is tricky. Sometimes you put a garment on and the swelling changes. A person who was helping me with a very difficult case this past week said that she had worked with a man who had lymphedema in his neck. So his neck was so swollen he couldn't talk. He couldn't move his tongue because of how swollen all of his skin was here, because, for those of you that don't know, lymphedema is the illness that takes place when your lymphatic system, which is throughout your entire body, is cut and it's damaged, or it doesn't work well when you're born. And so what happens is your lymphatic system helps drain excess liquid and fluid in your body. It helps it, so that you can pee or go to the bathroom, and then it drains and everything. Y'all didn't realize you were going to get a little education here on lymphedema. But there currently is no cure for lymphedema, as far as we know. We're working on it. Researchers, everybody working on it. But when the lymphatic system is cut, and usually it is always cut in patients who have breast cancer and they have mastectomies, when you cut into that lymphatic system, you are always at risk for lymphedema at that point. So compression garments essentially keep they're medical grade garments that will assist your body in pushing the liquid up into the core so that your body can drain that excess liquid. If it doesn't, you can swell and keep swelling and keep swelling and keep swelling. And it's definitely giving a Violet Beauregard from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibes. And we don't want that, because people can swell to the point where they are immobile and they cannot walk. So even with that, The person helping me, she said that she had a person who had, he had super swelling, so they gave him a compression garment for his neck. It completely cleared it out, but then unexpectedly, because it doesn't always happen, every person's case is different. The lymphedema switched, and so the swelling, the liquid went up to the top of his scalp and down into his chest. So then they had to make another garment, and these garments are expensive. No thanks to the healthcare system here in the US. And so they had to make another garment for his head and face and for his chest. And it was, I think she said it was a year before they had a garment that finally got everything where it needed to be, that he could put on every day, that he could trust what was going to happen, that would help keep him at a smaller size so that he could continue to, speak, to live his life, to feel healthy, to have a good quality of life. And so I find it interesting at this point in my life, as a person who prefers to know what is happening when things are happening, and I get very frustrated when there is no plan. I do not like when there is not a plan, and I don't like when there is a plan and the plan is interrupted. I don't know if that's a personality thing. Again, I haven't been assessed, so I don't know if that's a neurospicy type situation, but I've always hated not having a plan. But the thing that Spirit has been on me about is leaving that shit in the past. Stop planning. This is not for everybody, obviously. This may not be for you. So keep that in mind because there's a lot of risk that comes with not planning. But I will tell you, I stopped planning months and months and months ago, and I'm getting better at pivoting. Pivoting is something that I thought I was good at before. Pivoting now, I'll be in appointments with patients, and typically I am able to prepare for these patients. I can see their charts online in our electronic medical records. I can see their charts, I can see what they're dealing with, so that when they come to me, I'm prepared. In some cases, I don't see anything. They don't have any pre-information. I don't see if they've seen doctors before. I don't know if they're coming to see me for lymphedema or lipedema, which are two very different things, or venous insufficiency, which is also a different thing. The cause of swelling dictates the type of garment you should be in. And because there's so many different companies that make garments, there's so many different garments that you can have, and I do not have them all memorized. I used to get so stressed when a patient would come in and I had no prior information. But now when they come in and I don't know anything, I'm like, well, we're learning together. So I have questions now that I will ask. And the type of questions that I ask them has changed over time as I've been working. So the not planning thing, it's very possible to live your life and not have a plan and be able to live a happy, healthy life without planning everything. There are things that I did, right, that Spirit moved me to do to prepare for certain big things that were going to happen or that are going to happen. And I'm happy that I did that legwork, because now it's just there. I have documents, Excel sheets sitting in my computer of things like my move from this apartment, But even with that, when I was living in Boston, I was preparing to move, COVID hit. So the U-Haul company that we were using said, I'm sorry, we're not renting out any U-Hauls at this time. We're allowing the people who have U-Hauls right now that typically we would want to have back, we're allowing them to keep those because right now we do not have a process to deal with COVID. All that planning completely went to shit. Only for my ex-husband's father and uncle to reach out, and they were like, hey, yo, we're gonna come and get you. Are you ready? That whole trip, the only thing that I did that planning helped was to be packed and ready to go. It was to be ready. And I think you'll find that Spirit says this a lot. God will say this a lot. Prepare. Preparing and planning to me kind of feel different, because planning is when you map out everything. Preparing is when you're just ready to go. You're ready for anything. Luck favors the prepared, as they say. And so I feel really prepared for a lot of different things, and in some cases I may not be prepared because I can't tell the future. I be reading tarot cards, but I don't attempt to read, to know what's happening with the future. We got some rain today. It's very gray, but the air pressure is messing with my ears. When you pop your ears, sometimes you gotta yawn. But there's so much that planning in the past did not help with. And now not planning, I actually feel more at peace because here's the thing. When I used to have a plan, a step-by-step process for everything, and the plan didn't work, I was pissed. I was like, I spent all this time planning only for this shit not to work. And now, if shit doesn't work, I didn't spend all the time planning. I can now spend my time dealing with it right now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. That is the life I live now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Because odds are when we get there, it's not going to look like what we thought it was going to look like anyways. You plan a trip from here, from Florida to Boston. You plan to take certain roads, you plan to take certain routes, and there's a road closure that day. There's a massive pileup or a car accident where you have to go around. Being able to pivot in your life is such an important skill as a human being. Change, risk, unexpected things, natural disasters. There's so much that we cannot plan for. Again, I'm surprised this is the message I'm talking on because this was not my plan. See, I had no plan coming into this, and this is why it's so good, because back when I first started doing videos, I would plan to talk about certain things and then spirit would nudge me and I would start talking about something else and I would feel really bad because I wasn't ready. I didn't do any research. I didn't have no plans. But it's crazy. And even wanting to get cats, wanting to move to Boston, there's so much stuff that's been happening that I could not have prepared for. I could not have planned for. And so I am just handling and dealing with things as they come. And I'm surprised how much more at peace I am. Yes, I experienced disappointment. Yes, I experienced the occasional, maybe I should get this done because I didn't pre-plan. But it's never so bad to where I'm like, I have to go back to planning. It's not been that bad. On the other side of it, my personal experience, again, not saying you have to do this at all. You have to commune with spirit. You have to meditate. You have to put that time in to know where you're supposed to be right now and what you're supposed to be doing. Because where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing is just what our spirit is leading us to do. That's all. It's not that complicated. I complicate it. I'm like, all of the machinations of my mind, there's so much shit to do. There's really not. It's actually very simple. The process of being is very simple. And we as human beings have complicated a very simple process. So, let's see. We talked about the armoire. The gig is going well. I'm enjoying it more and more every day. The patients, being able to help them, seeing the relief, keeping up with them. I did make a massive mistake. And by massive, I just mean it's going to inconvenience the patient. I measured a person and I made a call. And because it's an art, the only thing you could do is make calls sometimes. I made a call only to speak with, because it didn't sit right with me, the call that I made. But I was like, this seems like the best case because of historically what this patient has done and how this patient has been wearing compression up until this point. There are exceptions to every rule. And when I spoke to, I reached out to an expert, who deals with the garments that I was specifically using in this case. And the expert said, nope, you need to put this person in this garment, which means I have to bring them back in to remeasure them for different measurements for the garment. And when I first started working this gig, I hated having to call patients to schedule, you have to come back and see me because something has come up. And they're inconvenienced. I mean, some of my patients are coming from an hour, 2 hours away. And so trying to get everything done in the appointment that I can get done is the priority. The patient's comfort level, what they can afford, what we can do for them, the patient is the priority. But there are times where I make mistakes because I am human. And again, even the people who I've trained under who've been working with compression for a long time, they say that this happens a lot, where it's like, I'll measure a person, the measurements aren't adding up. We go into the systems to try to put in these measurements so that it can ship to these companies so that they can start making these custom garments, because some garments you can buy and they're pre-made. Some garments, or some people's lymphedema or lipedema or venous insufficiency is so different and unique to them that you have to have a custom garment made that will only fit them. It is for them. And so this person who I met loved him and his wife. I have to call them on Monday and be like, hey, I'm so sorry you're having to come from a distance, but after speaking to an expert who works with this particular garment, you're going to have to go into something different, which means I gotta bring you back in. And I hate that shit. I hate having to call patients. It doesn't happen very often. It's maybe happened, this person included, and I've been working for 6 months now. And then I would have to say I've been measuring for probably 4 months now. I would say out of the 4 months, it's only happened twice, including this person, where I've had to call them and bring them back in, like for measurements. In most cases, I get everything that I can get, but there's some measurements that's just, with the time of the appointment that I have, it can be very difficult to try to get everything done one time. But I'm gonna have to call him on Monday. And Friday when I got home, I was so stressed because I knew it coming home. I was like, I'm gonna have to call him. And he was so sweet, and his wife was so sweet, and I hate that I have to bring them back out to see me so that I can remeasure, but I want him in the best garment possible for him. I want the lymphedema to be managed. I want it to be at a point where he has a great quality of life. And he told me that he flies. For those of you that don't know, if a patient has lymphedema and they fly, they have to be in their garments. There is a person I actually follow on TikTok, and I've been following her since before I got this gig. Her name is Bella, and she is an editorial film, or an editorial trainee in film and TV. And if you're interested in film or TV, go find her on TikTok. Her name is Bella, and she has primary lymphedema, which is lymphedema that you have when you're born with it. So your lymphatic system just does not work from the time that you are born. So she has had to be in compression garments her entire life. She has full body compression. She has compression for her chest, and she has for her abdomen and for her legs. And it's interesting being able to interact with her content. And I've actually been able to speak with her directly in some cases because I work in lymphedema. And that's something I didn't think was going to happen, is that the field of work that I work in allows me to speak to interesting people like in entertainment, because this is like a thing, that people are dealing with. But I don't know why I brought that up, why I brought her up. But yeah, like the work that I'm doing is actually very rewarding. And I've thought so many times, well, I would love to not have to work. I think a lot of people would love to not have to work. But if I am going to be working, I love this type of work. I love it. I love being able to help people. But even in this gig, there's a lot of stuff that I can't plan for. A lot of things that happen on the back end that I cannot control, with people's insurance or with how a garment is made. I have a person, oh my gosh, we ordered a garment back in January, beginning of January. And because of what's happening with the tariffs, because of what's happening with the US and how other countries don't really fucks with us heavy right now, for good reason, mind you, it's prolonging the shipment of her garments. A lot of compression garments are actually made in Europe. They're specifically made in Germany, and they have to go through customs. And so because of things that are happening politically, it is affecting how fast patients are getting garments. Things I never thought that I would now know and be a part of. So this lady, we ordered her garments in December, in the middle of December. And I've had to call her every day that her garment was supposed to ship to get to her and let her know, I'm sorry, it's been back ordered again. It's been back ordered again. Her garment has been back ordered 6 or 7 times, and she needs this. Her doctor says she needs this. but I've looked at other vendors, I've looked at other places, I've spoken to experts about what she can do, and currently she cannot afford to get a custom garment made. Her garment is what we would call off the shelf. And I've talked to everybody and they were like, there is no replacement for what she needs. So she has to wait. And I hate that. And I experience that so much. So talk about planning. I tell patients all the time, we should get your garment in between this time and this time. But there's always a possibility that we won't get it until later because of what's happening with shipping as of recently. And then don't even let weather factor into that. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm dealing with the not being able to plan in my gig either, and having to deal with unexpected issues with patients daily. Every patient has something different that they're struggling with, that they need. Patients will come in already mad because they've been given the runaround in other situations, and I hate confrontation, but I know how to pivot now. I know how to speak to patients about their struggles and their issues. I can let them know what I can do, and I can tell them when my hands are tied. So pivoting, I guess, is the theme of this video. It's an incredibly important skill to have as a human being. And again, human beings are actually the only animals on this planet that seem to not deal with change well. Every other animal understands the seasons will change. Sometimes we have to migrate to different locations. Human beings struggle with change so much. And I think it's because as we have become more intelligent, as we have built things in order to make our lives easier, we get into these little, we get very comfortable in the knowing of things and what we're doing. And then when that's challenged, we buck at it. Our hairs raise up and we prickle at it. We're like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. A white crane just flew by. So I don't know if that's a symbol for anybody watching right now. A white crane. White crane. So, since a white crane flew by, do I have a pack of tarot cards? I pulled these out. I'm never moved to do these anymore. I used to do readings all the time, and I haven't been moved to do them in a minute. So somebody watching this video at this point, this is for you if that white crane is significant, and only if that white crane is significant, is what I am led to say. This is interesting. The cards in my hands. I have not done. I actually did a reading for myself yesterday. Spirit was like, we need to talk to you. And full transparency, didn't like what they had to say. I was like, fuck y'all. Did not like it at all. They essentially were like, yeah, so you do tend to betray yourself when you do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, damn. And they were like, yep, there's more. Also, you still mask. And I was like, well, yes, because this is how I've learned to live my life. And they were like, you gotta stop that shit. So now on my streaming, when I'm streaming, they're like, if you're not streaming because your background isn't set up the way you want it, stream anyways. We don't give a fuck about your background. Stream. Go on there and play video games and talk to your community. They need to hear from you. They do not care if your background is set up. And if they do care, they're not for you. They're not for you. If you have people in your life that are like, everything has to be so, everything has to be this way, everything has to be that way, or else we can't engage, I don't know who this is for. If you're dealing with people who are asking and requiring perfection from you in your relationship, question them. Confront them about that, because we are human beings. There's no such thing as perfection. Confront them. That message is for a very specific person. That's not for all of y'all. I'm all of y'all in an hour. Did y'all ever watch the Julian Smith videos on YouTube, by the by? I made this for you. I used to love Julian Smith. So I don't know who's watching this, but I have a feeling all of this is for you. If you don't know who Julian Smith is, he was a YouTuber back in the day, very creative. Did a song called I'm Reading a Book. It was like, I'm reading a book. Don't you ever interrupt me when I'm reading a book. On the shoulder, got pulled over. Pigs trying to get me from a window lower. I'm reading a book, man. I'm reading a book. Don't you ever interrupt me when I'm reading the book. Bro, his stuff was fire. That was back when people were tarred on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Now, you got bitches like me who just be talking to the camera and think people are entertained. Damn. When you read yourself. Okay, let's see. What do we got for you? I always want to do a 3-card pull. Oop, that one. That one. Anything else? 2? No, it's 4. It's 4 cards. This one. Let's see what we got. How you doing? How you feeling? Hope you're feeling amazing. I didn't start my video that way. Usually that's how I start my vlogs. Okay. 49 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock as we are... Nope. The card behind it. Ooh. And the card on top. Just kidding. 5 cards. Ooh. Interested. This particular deck that I have does not have a guidebook with it, so off the dome. First card that we pulled. Please remove any ego, any assumptions, any personal opinions that I have at this time as we do this reading. Clear ego, clear sight, please, and thank you, Spirit. So our first card is the 1 card. It's Spirit, and those are crystals. It's giving amethyst. It's giving February, so this is a February reading. So if you're watching this and it's not February, the energy of February tends to be its love month. So February is love month. You have Valentine's Day in this month, and it is also Black History Month. And for me, Black History Month and love month, it's the same thing. Loving being Black, loving the people in your life who are Black, loving your neighbor, loving the community around you, and appreciating their culture and their history, even if it's not your own. So if you're a person who's not Black, if you're a person who's not melanated, this month is not just for you to observe. Ooh, I'm getting a lot right now. This month is not just for you to observe the history of what Black people have done. It's not just for that. And for those of you that don't live in the US, it is Black History Month here in the US right now in the month of February, where we celebrate African Americans, people who are heavily melanated, all of their contributions that they have made to society that tend to go unnoticed because our history is very whitewashed. It's very there's this idea that we didn't do shit, which is a lie. We actually did a lot. There's a lot of shit that you use that Black people made. Come on now. So I'm getting that this is love month. Spirit. What is Spirit doing? Yellow is also significant. I'm getting a yellow dress. I'm getting daisies, perhaps. I'm getting really pretty yellow flowers. Honeysuckle. I can smell honeysuckle. Interesting. So Spirit is trying to reach out to you for this reading. So that's your first card. Your second card is actually the 5th card that I pulled, and it's luck. So somebody has luck on their side. You got luck on your side. You got nut in your hair. So you've got luck. Luck is on your side, and it is growing. It's rooted. So your luck has finally rooted. It's finally taken place. So you're about to have a nice stream of some really lucky, serendipitous things happen. This is actually very positive. I always feel like if I'm being led to do a reading during a video, I feel like Spirit's about to slap somebody's hand. So I'm like, I'm sorry for how this is gonna sound. But somebody's luck is coming through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 11 leaves on this particular branch of whatever the fuck this plant is. So 11, if you add the 1 and 1 together, it's 2. So right now you need to be focusing on duality. You need to be focusing on bringing together the masculine and the feminine energies within your space right now, within your own body and within your own spirit. I'm feeling that there is a bit of an imbalance. So in order to lock into the luck that you have, you need to respect and honor both the masculine in you and the feminine in you. And this is even for people who are non-binary. Masculine and feminine energy is not locked into gender. Okay, because some people, when they hear masculine and feminine, they're like, nah, me. Yes, you. The duality of those energies are in everything. They're in the universe. They're in everything. Masculine does not necessarily mean male. Feminine does not necessarily mean female. So just letting you know of that. So you've got some luck coming in that is rooted. Luck is rooted. I wanted to... Okay, so both of these at the same time. Ooh, okay. I like this. So we got these two cards at the same time. My camera is reversed because I'm recording so I can see myself in case things go wrong. So this card is magic and this card is guidance. Look at her hair. Let me see. Can I get the camera to focus? Look at her hair. Stunning. So you are a very powerful person watching this video. You have a lot of magic within you that I'm feeling you are not using. I'm feeling that you're not using the magic, and you have it. It's there. So it's kind of like you're like looking around and you're like, dang, where's my hammer? Or no, more accurately, you're on this vibe right now. You're on this vibe. Where the fuck are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Where is it? God damn it, where is it? That's the vibe that I'm getting right now. And they're right here. They're right there. So you're a very powerful person. We've got 10 and 10 is 20. So again, the overall number here is 2. You're a very powerful person, but you need to lock into both that masculine and that feminine energy. You need to lock into the aspects of you that are loud and the aspects of you that are quiet. The aspects of you that need justice and the aspects of you that understand when it is time to step back and just allow the universe to take care of shit. Sometimes we want to enact and we want to make shit happen. And I'm feeling that you are the type of person, whoever this message is for, you're the type of person that really needs justice to be done upon people. I'm hearing the line from Lord of the Rings. Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth. May justice be done upon him. Like you're literally Filch in Harry Potter when he was like, somebody petrified my cat. I want to see some punishment. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting. You want to see some punishment. And I get that. There's a lot of shit that needs punishment right now. There's a lot of shit. I'm not going to get into it. If you are living in the US right now and you are on social media, you understand what's happening right now. Don't try to hide. You know what's happening. But with all that being said and everything that is happening, you have a lot of magic and you have a lot of power. You need to be speaking to spirit. And one of the things I'm going to need you, whoever this message is for, one of the things I'm going to need you to start doing when you start speaking to spirit is to ask spirit for clarity and the wisdom to know when things are in your control and when they are not. I have a feeling you, similarly to me, are a little control freak sometimes. You want everything to be the way you want it to be. And when it's not that way, you lose your shit and you become annoying as shit to everybody around you. You got to check that. I love you, but you got to check that. Like, it's not great for the people around you. You do not want people around you to feel like they cannot be themselves in your presence. If you're a person who feels like you are a safe person, this is an incredibly important message for you. And a duck just flew by very aggressively. I don't know if that matters to you. A duck flew by aggressively. The people around you sometimes will not tell you when you're being controlling. You'll just find they stop really wanting to be around you. Or if they're around you and you pay attention, you'll notice that there are certain things they don't say or do. Your opinion is not the only one that matters. Your opinion is not the only one that is right. And in some cases, when you're having conversations with people, I need you to remember, right and wrong does not a fun conversation make. So 57 minutes and 57 seconds on my clock as I say this. Whoever is watching this and this message is for you, and you'll know it in the pit of your stomach because you'll want to be like, shut up. That's how you know it's for you. If you don't like what I'm saying. If you're like, I already do this. Okay, give me more. Then it may not be for you. But if you're bucking at this message, then it is for you. Watch, keep watching the damn video. Don't be a little bitch. If you are a person who feels like you are a safe person, it is your job to make sure that you are checking any manner of you that believes that in conversations you should be telling people what you think is right. I learned very recently that I was having conversations with my siblings, my sisters and my brother, and I realized that in those conversations I had a really bad habit of being like, oh yeah, I agree, or I don't know if that's right, and that's a lot of what I had to say. So at some point I realized that I didn't like how it felt because it meant that conversations stopped being conversations. Because if I was like, well, because it's this, the conversation would get very quiet because people can't really respond. They can't really engage with you. The point of conversation with people that you love, with people who you are bonding with is to connect. It is not to be right in every aspect. Being right is not always the most important thing in conversation, especially in romantic relationships, in platonic relationships, familial relationships. You being right is not always a requirement. In fact, 90% of the time it's not. Whether or not you're right is not a big deal, and it's not important, because people are free to live their own lives the way they see fit. They are free to do the things that they need to do. We have a tendency of thinking because we are safe people, because we are justice driven, because we want the best for people, we have a tendency to be blind to when we are not being safe people, because we're trying to control conversations, or we're trying to put forth what we believe is ethic, moral, and right. Ethical, moral, and right. And a lot of people confuse those three things. So I would implore you to look up the definition of what is ethical, look up the definition of morality, look up those things. I have a feeling this is important. I don't know who this is for, but I'm moved to tell you, I love you. Don't know who you are. I love you. I'm not trying to come for your life right now. That's weird. That's crazy. I don't know who this person is. Again, I'm reminded to bring up the white crane. That's very important. So you have this magic. You need to lock into both of the energies, because I have a feeling that maybe one of those two energies you don't fuck with. So maybe you don't fuck with both because you are a non-binary person, or you're a person who is just now getting into that vibe of your non-binariness, which I love that for you. But the energy of the masculine and the feminine is beneficial for all human beings. It creates a balanced person. And even if you are a non-binary person, you want to be a balanced person. Ordinarily, I would not talk like this or talk about this, because I've always been very nervous that I would misspeak when it comes to being like saying the appropriate thing. I always get nervous about that. Side note, I'm beginning to learn Espanol. I can't remember, but I'm learning Espanol. I'm trying. And I asked a person how to say something, and she told me, and I repeated it incorrectly, and she grabbed my wrist and she said, that is okay, so what you just said was, and she told me, and I was like, oh my gosh. She said, yes, please do not say that to anybody. And that is the one reason I didn't want to learn other languages, because I was afraid I would insult somebody, or I would like misspeak in a way that was very rude or insulting. And she said, that's just what happens when you learn a new language. And she is not from here. And she was like, Americans who only speak English, they want to learn other languages, but they're like, I don't want to mess up. She was like, well, tough noogies. Everybody who's had to learn English, who didn't know how to speak English, has had to deal with that. Like, y'all aren't special. Americans aren't special. Trust me on this one. So 2 minutes and 23 seconds as I just glanced up. The magic. You have access to this magic, and you're going to need this magic as you continue to dig deeper into your soul to figure out what you need to be doing in your life, to connect with your ancestors, to move forward with happy, healthy relationships. You are going to need this. You are going to need your magic that you have access to. It's there for you. It's there for you. You have access to it. I wish we were in the car right now. The next card is guidance. So I'm feeling that this message is a part of the guidance that you are about to receive. So whoever is watching this, it's been a little quiet for you spiritually. You're doing a lot of work on your own, but you're not hearing from your spiritual team. And it's because you're doing a lot of this. You're doing a lot of yapping. You're doing what I'm doing right now. And what I'm getting is it's time for you to... There's a plane out there. It is time for you to open up a little bit more, okay? So that spirit can talk to you. So I'm gonna need you to go spend some time alone in nature. And here, the four corners of like the pentacle, it's fire, water, earth, or air, fire, water, earth, and then the spirit is the top of the pentacle. And so you need to go out to where those elements are. You need to connect with those elements. Get yourself some matches, light a candle or something, or go and look at a fireplace somewhere, something. You need to stare into some fire. You need to go and run your hands under some warm water, maybe go where there's a pond or where there's a lake, or get a cup of water and just stare at the water. You need to do a lot of meditating with the various elements. Stare at the dirt, feel it, touch it. You need to ground yourself in the elements, and it's going to strengthen your spiritual connection, which I find to be very true in my own life. When I go out barefoot and I am walking, I find that I tend to ground, the body grounds, and then the spirit can speak. 4 minutes and 44 seconds as I say that, on the clock, in the hour. On the hour, 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So this is very important to somebody. I have a feeling whoever's watching this, I'm not gonna say that. So, guidance. You have guidance coming through. And interestingly enough, I'm getting, okay, I didn't want to say it. So I'm getting witch. I'm getting somewhere in your history, there were witches. And I have a feeling I'm talking to somebody who isn't ethnic. I have a feeling I'm talking to somebody who is not Black or Indian. I have a feeling I'm talking to a person who is of the Caucasian persuasion, which is interesting. I usually only, when I do messages, usually they're very broad. So I'm hesitating a lot in this video because I don't know who this person, okay, so we're just supposed to keep going. I'm getting in your familial line, there are witches. Up. And they may not have had that term. They may not have known that they had the ability to kind of shift energy and move the elements, in a certain way. They may not have known that they were connected, but they were. The term witch has always been associated, or not always, but more recently it's been associated with negativity, especially when it comes to the church. The church did not like, the Catholic Church did not care for people who could do magic and who could heal people. And so there started one of the oldest smear campaigns ever to try to dissuade people from doing magic and to essentially, burn people at the stake for being able to help or do things or do magic. Typically, when you look at television or TV shows or media that talks about witches, there's always a negative connotation to it when that was not what it was originally. I would implore whoever's watching this to look up the history of witchcraft, particularly in Europe. This is interesting. I love this. I love you. Thank you for coming to this video. I don't know who you would be who found this video. I always find it odd when people, I got a message from somebody who lived in South Africa and was like, there's no reason your video should have popped up on my page, but thanks, because that had everything to do with what I'm dealing with right now. So I was like, I got you, homie. Whenever spirits talk, I talk and I yap and I do my thing, which I find interesting that this message would come this late in the video, which means whoever's watching this you weren't really watching this. Maybe you were listening to it or something. Or maybe you're somebody who's watching this and then you decided to send this part to somebody you know. If that's the case, hi, my name is Yasha. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, there is witchcraft in your line. So I need you to do some research on witchcraft. And particularly, I need you to do some research on the Salem witch trials. That is what I'm hearing. That is what I'm feeling. I wasn't going to say it. But yeah, I would do a little bit of research on that. I'm smiling because I know this is for somebody. Sometimes when I do these, I don't know. I'm like, I could be talking to anybody, but this message is for somebody specific. This one is locked. I'm actually really excited. Even if it's 23 seconds. Okay. So, and then the last card is freedom. This is where you are ultimately going to go. You are about to completely break free of the chains of societal expectation. You are going to break free from a past that haunts you. You are going to break free from all of the expectations you have had of yourself. And you're also on this journey that you're on going to break free from the expectations you have had of others. I have a feeling you're very pushy in some cases. And I know you're probably like, no, not me. Yes, the fuck you are. In some cases, you are very needy and you are very pushy. And while I love you and I care about you and Spirit loves you and Spirit cares about you, we're going to need you to dial that back a little bit, because again, you're a person who likes people. You're a person who likes community. I'm not talking to a person who is 100% introverted. I'm talking to a person who likes to socialize, a person who does like to go out. And one of the things that you are not realizing that unfortunately I am here, I guess fortunately, because hi, how you doing? But a little unfortunate is that you are not realizing how much your attitude is affecting your social situations. So your need to occasionally be right in conversations. And some people don't think that this applies to them because they're like, well, that's not how I am. I let other people talk. I give other people the floor, But again, these are blind spots for a reason. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it is a blind spot. You don't think you're like this. But I have a feeling if you ask somebody close to you, hey, do I have a tendency to kind of be very like not combative per se, but you have a tendency to you can't just let people feel the way they feel sometimes. Sometimes you come in with your knowledge base and what you know, and you come in with your experience, and it's a little heavy on people sometimes. And somebody in your life is tolerating it because they love you. But I am here to tell you that person would really like for you to take a step back and to really get to know yourself, get to know where you are, get to know who you are, and stop so heavily depending on everybody else around you to make you secure. Because I'm feeling that you're not very secure right now for good reason. You're searching. 1 hour and 11 minutes on the clock as I'm saying this. You're searching. You're doing a lot of good work right now, and I'm very proud of you, and Spirit's very proud of you. And the reason that I am being moved to tell you this, I'm feeling in my heart and I'm feeling in my goodie, my little goodie. I'm feeling the reason that I'm moved to tell you this is because you are at the cusp of something amazing. You are about to step into a power you have never experienced before. This shit's gonna blow your mind, bro. You actually may be a little uncomfortable with the power that you may feel as you continue on this journey. I'm getting moving mountains type power. You may feel a little guilty when you realize the type of power you have, and you're like, hey, yo, I have all this power and I can't change the world. Well, the world is not necessarily meant for you to change. You're here to experience the world, to engage in the world, and to do what you are moved in it. If you want to make the world a better place, you need to start here. That's how you do that. A lot of people think that they have to leave their home, they have to get on the phone, they have to go, they have to travel, they have to do all of this stuff to spread their quote unquote 12 minutes and 12 seconds, as I was going to say this, their ministry. I have a feeling you have you either may still be in the church or you have a very strong church historical background. I think that's why I felt uncomfortable bringing up the Salem witch trials, and even saying the word witch. I don't mind. I love witches. I be knowing some, and they're some of the coolest people. They're so grounded. But in this reading, I feel that you are uncomfortable with that. But what was I saying? I don't want to lose it. What was I saying? Yes, I have a feeling that you have some religious trauma, and that you still may be kind of sort of in the church, which is not a problem. It's not a problem at all. I think so many spiritual paths can combine, and you can use them to your advantage and to your benefit. But sometimes we think in order to minister or in order to share 13 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock as I'm saying this, oh my God, I'm getting all tingly. We think that we have to go out of our way to do those things when it's actually the reverse. Living a life that you would like to see reflected in the world around you is one of the most effective ways to make change in this world. There's so many people who are already doing the outdoor work. They're going from door to door. They're going to protests. They're going and speaking to people. They're doing the big brother, big sister things. They're adopting, they're planting trees, they're going out and they're doing things, and those things are good. And if you're already doing those things, keep doing them. If you're not doing those things and you're very justice driven, I would implore you to look at doing those things. When I was in college, there were a lot of people that I met and that I knew who are very justice driven. They're very, I want the world to be a better place. You should be voting, yet they in their lives did nothing other than vote. There were a lot of people I knew, they had a lot of talk, but then when you look at their day-to-day lives, they didn't back it. They weren't actually out here doing things. They weren't doing anything, nor were they doing any internal work. And you can tell when a person is working on themselves. You can feel it in how they speak about the world around them, how they speak about themselves, how they speak about the ones they love. People can see you, believe it or not. We are very easy to read to a lot of other people. Spoiler alert, we're not all dark and mysterious. You know, people can see us for who we are based off of our actions. So, if you want to do those things, you can, but one of the most motivating things you can do for yourself right now to motivate your spirit, to give you that strength, to give you that oomph, because I'm feeling that there's insecurity here. So to help you not be as insecure and to help you, come out and do things, this internal work is required for your next steps. There is no getting around it. There are going to be tears. There's going to be crying. There are going to be some things about yourself that you're about to discover that you do not like. And I'm sorry, but we all have to do it. If you are actually on a spiritual journey right now, this is the cost. This is what you have to pay to be on this journey, to have access to the power in a way that you want access to it, because there are a lot of people who have access to this power and they ain't shit. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. There are people out here who are on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, they on Google Plus. They out here doing all kinds of stuff. They talking to people. Some of them are standing at the pulpit. And you think because of how they talk and the power that they exhibit that they are actually working on themselves and they want the world to be a better place. That is not always true. People can lie. They lie in your face. A lot of us mask. Believe it or not, a lot of us mask. And a lot of us want to be authentic now, and that's what we're working on, but there are a lot of people who have access to power and they're not using it for good. They're out here being a shit. So, for you, I would say your spirit is trying to reach out to you. And interestingly enough, the shape that I am seeing, let me see if I can show you this shape. So this is the shape. Give me a second. Let me. So this is the shape. Yeah, this form, right there. Your hand like that. So it's in the shape of a key. So your spirit is trying to reach out to you. Your luck is rooting. You're doing a very good job. You've got some luck coming through. But again, make sure that you are balancing that duality of the masculine and the feminine, 17 minutes and 17 seconds on the hour as I say that. So make sure that you are balancing. You have a lot of powerful magic that you have access to, that you're looking for, but it's there. You already have it. You're just not using it. You have guidance coming through from women in particular in your ancestral line who were witches. Whether or not they knew that's what they were. And then you have access to so much freedom based off of the work that you are doing right now. I'm very proud of you. Spirit is actually very proud of you as well. We're very happy. We would tell you, keep going. This is worth it. Believe it or not, this is worth it. The trauma that you've been through, the issues that you've gone through, the pain and the physical that you have experienced, the potentially religious trauma, the issues that you've had with your family, all of that has brought you to this point. And there is a point where you will feel confident and it's gonna blow your mind and you're gonna cry, and I'm getting emotional about it because the relief that you are going to feel if you stick it out, if you stay in there on this journey and you keep going, my love, you are gonna be in such a better place. I'm so excited for you. Whoever you are, my hope is that I hear from you one day. If I don't, that's fine. But I hope that when you get to that point of confidence, that you remember that this video happened and that you watched it or you heard it or somebody sent it to you and you're like, damn, let me message her privately on Instagram or Twitch and be like, hey bitch, it happened. I feel it. I feel the peace. I feel the confidence. It's all up in my spiritual. It's all up in my chakras. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to feel. But anyways, so that is the end of that reading. That is the end of that reading. You are loved. You are cared for. There is so much love for you here. There is so much support for you here. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing applause. I'm seeing keep going. And then a card just fell out. There is indeed a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light at the end of a tunnel. There is resolve. There is resolution in any issues you are struggling with right now. It's there. So I am here to not only give you that message, but to confirm it's not hopeless. To confirm you are walking in the right direction. If you've been questioning and you were like, where the fuck am I? It's okay. It's okay. I'm the NPC in the video game here to tell you, you are walking in the right direction. I'm the mile marker on the highway that you slowed down and you're looking because there's an immense amount of fog and you're like, where the fuck? I am here as the mile marker to say, hey, how you doing? You are going in the right direction. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. In order to climb a staircase, you don't have to see the whole staircase. The only step you need to see is the one in front of you. And all you got to do is take it. Take that step. And then you'll take another. And then you'll take another. And then you'll take another. And you've got this. You've got this. Oh my gosh. That felt really good. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit, for giving me that. This video is going to take forever to upload. We are at an hour and a half. I think this may be the longest video that I've done. Real quick, for anybody who's a reader who likes reading, especially if you are a murder mystery girly, now that we're done with that message, whoever I was talking to, the rest of this video is not necessarily for you, so you can pack it up if you want to, or you can stay. Y'all, this book is incredible. I am not sponsored by anybody, but I picked this book up. It's called The Botanist's Assistant. It's by Peggy Townsend. Delightfully satisfying, says Jen McKinley. The Maid Meets Lessons in Chemistry, says Nina Simone. It's a good book. It's about a woman who is in her mid-50s, which I love. I love. As a person who grew up on young adult novels, it's so refreshing to see a main character who is older. She is in her 50s, and she is exactly... I didn't even think about it. She's the exact personality type that I was telling you about. She has to have a plan. She's a stickler for her time and her effort and her energy. She's very, she, at the very beginning of the book, just to give you an idea, she essentially runs you through what she did that morning and how long it took to do everything. By the minute, she could tell you. And so it's a murder mystery. She's a botanist and she's a chemist. And actually, part of the reason I like it is because her work actually is supposed to go to, I believe, a cure for cancer. So no other spoilers in the book. It's a very good book. As you can see, I'm not that much of the way through it. I've read this much. I'm going to keep reading 22 minutes and 22 seconds and then 23 seconds as I say that. So if you are interested in finding something to read, or you're trying to get into reading, or you are a reader, I recommend you get this book. I'm enjoying it. I love it so far. I love how it's written. It's actually very silly too for a murder mystery. Like how she be thinking, because it's actually written in present tense. So you are walking with her through her every day. Shit's hilarious. I would read it. But anyways, I think I have rambled on enough for an hour and 22 minutes. It's not too bad, huh? It's not too bad. On our journeys, we are doing the best that we can. Only if we are doing the best that we can. People say that, but are they really doing the best that they can? If you are working on being and you are working on just existing and trying to be the type of human being you would like other human beings to be, Right on. Right on. Rock on, as I heard a streamer who I love say. But anyways, I'm gonna shut the hell up. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a good afternoon, morning, evening, or night. And I will holler at you guys in the next video that I do, whenever the fuck that happens to be. Alright. Yep, that's it. That's all I got. Okay, bye.